One dough, 4 base flavors, and endless Christmas cookie variations. I make over 20 different cookies, rolling, baking, icing, decorating, and gifting, all in one festive video. Simple, fun, and perfect for holiday baking. Let's get started. Six sticks of unsalted butter and 6 tablespoons of cream cheese, along with 2.5 cups of sugar. What we're doing here is creaming the butter, cream cheese, and sugar together. Don't forget to scrape down the bowl so everything mixes evenly. We'll whip this for about 5 minutes until the mixture becomes much paler in color and creamy, just like this. Next, add 2 large eggs and 3 egg yolks. Whip again for about 2 more minutes until the mixture becomes lighter and fluffier. Now add about 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. Once all the liquids are well incorporated, add 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. This helps enhance the flavor and balance out the sweetness. In a separate bowl, we have 6.5 cups, about 780 grams all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon baking powder, and 2 teaspoons cream of tartar. Cream of tartar helps keep the cookies softer, smoother, and more flavorful. And it also helps prevent the cookies from browning too much. Add the flour mixture to the egg and butter mixture. You don't want to overwork the dough. We're simply incorporating the flour. This dough is actually very similar to a pastry dough, so you want to keep it cold as much as possible. I like to fold it gently at this stage. The total weight of our dough is 1,911 grams. When we divide it into 4 portions, each portion will be about 475 grams. Add 2 tablespoons cocoa powder and about 3 drops of red food coloring, which is optional. Then add 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour. For each portion of dough, we'll add an extra 2 to 3 tablespoons of flour, depending on how much additional dry flavoring we're using, such as matcha powder or cocoa powder. Place the dough onto plastic wrap. Sprinkle 1 more tablespoon of all-purpose flour and use the plastic wrap to pull the dough together. Because this dough is quite sticky, this method makes it much easier to handle and helps avoid a big mess. Finally, transfer the dough to the refrigerator, and we'll roll it out after about 2 hours of chilling. We'll start with 1 portion of the base dough, about 475 grams. Add 2 tablespoons of matcha powder and give the dough a quick fold to combine. If you'd like a brighter green color, add 2 drops of green food coloring, which is optional. Then fold once more until evenly mixed. Sprinkle 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour. Transfer the dough onto plastic wrap. And use the plastic wrap to gently pull the dough together. Place the dough in the refrigerator, and we'll roll it out after about 2 hours of chilling. Using 1 portion of base dough, add 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder and 1 teaspoon of espresso powder. Then fold the dough just until combined. Transfer the dough onto plastic wrap. Sprinkle 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour and use the plastic wrap to bring the dough together. Refrigerate the dough and we'll roll it out after about 2 hours of chilling. For the classic sugar cookie dough, this is what we have left in the bowl. Add 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour and gently fold until incorporated. Transfer the dough onto plastic wrap and use the plastic wrap to pull the dough together. Place it in the refrigerator and we'll roll it out after about 2 hours of chilling. All 4 cookie dough flavors have chilled for a couple of hours, and they're nice and firm now. This makes the dough much easier to roll, cut, and shape. I'll start working with the classic sugar cookie dough first, and the rest will go back into the fridge to stay cold. I'm using half of this dough for cutout cookies and the other half for thumbprint cookies. Since this dough needs to stay cold, I'm working with just 1/4 at a time and keeping the rest chilled. Smaller portions make it much easier to handle. Before stamping, I lightly dip the cookie stamp into cocoa powder. This helps release the stamp cleanly and creates beautiful highlights in the design, making every detail stand out clearly. This is the moment when everyone gathers in the kitchen, kids, family, and lots of laughter. These little traditions make baking so memorable, and you can really feel the warmth and holiday spirit come alive. Bake the cookies at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 8 to 12 minutes, just until they're set but still soft in the center. As the tray comes out of the oven, the kitchen smells amazing, so buttery and warm. The cookies held their shape perfectly with sharp, clean edges, and they didn't spread too much, just perfect. Now we're working with the matcha-based dough cookies. I'm using half of this dough for cutout cookies and the other half for thumbprint cookies. A few tips for working with this dough. Lightly dust your work surface and rolling pin with flour to prevent sticking. Keep the dough cold. It's much easier to handle that way. Roll it out to about 1/4 inch thick so the cookies bake evenly and hold their shape. Don't overwork the dough, and if it starts to get too soft, pop it back in the fridge for a few minutes. These little tricks make rolling and cutting much smoother and keep the cookies looking clean and crisp. Don't throw away the leftover scraps. Gather them together, gently press them into a ball, and roll them out again. This way, you can make extra cookies without wasting any dough. One important step you don't want to skip is chill the dough in the fridge for about 20 minutes before baking. This helps the cookies hold their shape, prevents spreading, and ensures they bake evenly with clean edges. Now we're working with the chocolate espresso cookie dough. I'm using just half of it for cutout cookies, and the other half will be saved for Linzer cookies later. Bake these at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, keeping a close eye on them so the chocolate stays rich and doesn't overbake. The smell of chocolate and espresso is absolutely incredible. Next up is the red velvet sugar cookie dough. Just like before, I'm saving half of the dough for red velvet star cookies later. There are so many ways to cut cookies, even without cookie cutters. You can use a glass, a jar lid, or anything round you already have in the kitchen. But this year, I'm using these cute cookie cutters with plunger stamps. Let's bake them! Once the matcha, chocolate espresso, red velvet, and classic sugar cookies are baked, I place them in a container to keep them fresh and moist, while I move on to making the thumbprint cookies. For the leftover sugar cookie dough, I'm mixing in about 1/4 cup of almond powder to add extra flavor and texture. Then I scoop the dough into balls, roll them lightly in almond powder, and place them in the fridge to chill. These will be filled with almond butter later, and they're going to be so good. For the leftover matcha dough, I'm using just half and mixing in about 2 tablespoons of sweetened shredded coconut. You can chop the coconut a little finer if you like. Then I roll the dough into a log and let it rest in the fridge. We'll fill these with Nutella later. They're going to be rich, fragrant, and so delicious. Now, the matcha coconut Nutella cookie dough is chilled and firm, making it easy to slice. I'm cutting the log into 8 even pieces. The almond butter cookie dough is ready as well, and we'll fill those next. We'll fill the almond cookies with creamy almond butter. To shape the almond cookies, use a teaspoon to gently press the center of each dough ball, creating a small shallow well, just like this. Then fill each one with almond butter. We'll do the same with the matcha coconut cookies, pressing the center. We'll fill the matcha coconut cookies with rich Nutella. Once they're filled, bake the cookies at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 to 12 minutes, until they're just set and lightly golden. The almond cookies filled with almond butter and the matcha coconut cookies filled with Nutella are fresh out of the oven. They look absolutely gorgeous, smell incredible, and have that perfect balance of soft centers and lightly golden edges. For the rest of the leftover matcha cookie dough, I'm adding about 1/4 cup of roasted crushed walnuts for extra texture and flavor. Once everything is well mixed, I roll the dough into a log and divide it into 8 even portions. Each piece is rolled into a ball, then lightly coated in almond flour. After that, the dough goes into the fridge to chill. Later, these will be filled with my homemade strawberry jam, adding a sweet, fruity contrast to the earthy matcha and nutty walnuts. For the leftover sugar cookie dough, I'm mixing in about 1 tablespoon of black sesame seeds and 1 tablespoon of dried cranberries for texture and contrast. Once that's combined, I add 1.5 tablespoons of almond flour and mix everything well. Then I roll the dough into a log, divide it into 14 even portions, and let them chill in the fridge. Later on, these will be filled with pistachio paste, adding a rich, nutty finish to each cookie. Now the matcha walnut dough is chilled and firm. The black sesame cranberry dough is ready as well. I gently press the center of each dough ball to create a small well, then fill the black sesame cranberry cookies with pistachio paste. I do the same with the matcha walnut cookies, filling them with homemade strawberry jam. Once they're filled, they're ready to go into the oven. The matcha walnut and black sesame cranberry cookies are fresh out of the oven. They look beautiful, smell amazing, and have those lightly golden edges with soft, jam-filled centers. I'm rolling out the leftover chocolate espresso dough to make Linzer cookies using these little cookie cutters. Then the cookies go back into the fridge to chill before baking. And lastly, I'm rolling out the red velvet cookie dough and using a star-shaped cutter to make festive cookies. I press an M&M into the center for a pop of color. I like to chill the dough briefly before baking to help the cookies keep their shape. It's simple, but they look so cheerful and perfect for the holidays. They are fresh out of the oven, perfectly holding their shape and looking absolutely festive. All the cookies are baked and ready, so I'm storing them to keep them fresh and crisp. Up next, we're moving on to the royal icing. So for this recipe, you'll need 2 cups of sifted powdered sugar. I always sift powdered sugar because it absorbs moisture from the air. Sifting removes lumps and keeps the icing smooth. You'll also need up to 1/2 tablespoon of water, 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt, and your choice of extracts like almond, vanilla, or strawberry, depending on your preference. We'll need 1 large pasteurized egg white, about 30 grams. Make sure to use pasteurized egg whites so they're safe for everyone. Alternatively, you can use meringue powder, which is an egg white substitute, but today we'll use egg white. We might need a little water depending on the consistency we're aiming for. But first, we'll add the vanilla extract for flavor. And set it on this side. Do the same with the salt, and I'll explain why in a moment. Make sure the egg whites are at room temperature, and if you're using carton egg whites, give them a good shake beforehand. Place the egg whites on the same side of the bowl with the other liquids. Now we'll start working with that portion of the bowl, gradually incorporating more of the powdered sugar as we go. This method helps ensure a really smooth, lump-free icing. If you try to mix all the powdered sugar at once, it's harder to work with and may leave lumps. At this point, add a few drops of water at a time. You can always add more if needed. Royal icing is all about consistency, depending on how you want to decorate your cookies. I'm adding 1 more teaspoon of water. There are 2 main consistencies: a thicker one for outlining and borders, and a thinner flood consistency for filling in shapes. At this point, if you want the outline icing, that's all you need. But as I mentioned earlier, I like an in-between consistency. So I'm adding the rest of the water, about a total of 1/2 tablespoon. I also added about 3 drops of white gel coloring first to cancel out the natural yellow tint, keeping all colors bright and true. This is the kind of consistency I'm going for. Not too thick for outlining and not too thin for flooding. It's just right for a quick, simple decorating session without using too much icing. Now we save some white icing in a piping bag for decorating the cookies, and turn the rest into different colors for fun designs. Coloring the icing, we use gel food coloring. Because it's concentrated and won't thin the icing, liquid coloring can make icing runny and cause colors to look dull or uneven, which is why we stick to gel coloring. Take some of the white icing and place it in a small bowl for coloring. Add a small amount of gel color, mix well, and fill a piping bag. Repeat with any other colors you want. If your icing is too thin, add sifted powdered sugar and mix well. If it's too thick, add water drop by drop until you reach the desired consistency. I'm using a dough scraper to push the icing down to the tip of the piping bag. You can also use a baking rubber band to tighten the bag, making it easier to pipe and control. Royal icing can start to dry and get crisp in the bowl very quickly. To prevent this, cover it tightly with plastic wrap or work in small batches, so it stays smooth and workable. And now, we're ready for the fun part, creative cookie decorating and quality family bonding time. You don't need complicated techniques. Just relax, enjoy the process, and have fun. Look at all these cookies. We made so many. I'm lining up these colorful Thumbprint cookies with different flavors, and they smell absolutely amazing. Next, we're decorating the cutout cookies. There are so many cute Christmas gift boxes, but I'm choosing these two. One is for my sister's family, and the other is just for my nephew, filled with homemade cookies. They're made with love and ready to share this holiday season. My nephew loves yellow, so this box is just perfect for him. It looks so festive and full of Christmas cheer. I can't wait for him to see all these colorful cookies. This box is for my sister and her family. Since they love Thumbprint cookies, I made sure to pack plenty for them. And I just made this one for my daughter. She'll be home for Christmas. I can't wait to see her face when she opens it. And that's it. Our Christmas cookies are baked, decorated, and all packed up for gifting. Thank you for watching. Wishing you a sweet and festive holiday season. And I'll see you next time.